So according to science, the way it works is like this. Fourth wall writes me and Normie, and all of the variations. We can only move forward in time because we're three-dimensional beings. But fourth wall can move backwards and forwards in time, do whatever he wants. Time is the fourth dimension. Fifth wall is a dimension of probability. He decides what fourth wall is capable of, which means that at the end of the day, fifth wall can decide what fourth wall does and doesn't do. He decides which universes exist and which ones don't. Interdimensional deity is the multiverse itself. He's like a realm of light that travels all the way down the lower dimensions, but we can't interpret it with our own three-dimensional eyes, which means that at any point, interdimensional deity could be dancing behind me naked to some 80s pop song and I'd never know because I can't interpret it with my brain. Or can I? Nah. Okay, so past this, we have the seventh dimension. It's like a plane of multiverses where the start conditions are all the same, but the way things played out is different. It's kind of like alternate timelines, except time is now the laws of physics, and the way things played out in each multiverse is different because there are different laws of physics in each multiverse. The only thing is we can only move forwards and backwards through that plane of multiverses, which means we're still dependent on the rules of that multiverse. We need to break the rules. We need to go higher. The eighth dimension, where we can start to see the varying laws of physics across different multiverses. We could travel to a multiverse where water's made of chocolate, but the only way to travel through that is to be above it. Speaking of which, at last, we reach my target. The ninth dimension. Only problem is, if you're a lower dimensional being, you can't go up. And I'm just a third dimensional being. You need to break through the fourth dimension to make that happen. But fortunately, fourth wall made that mistake the first time he let me in his dimension. Because he gave me the key I needed to travel up the dimensions. This laptop. This is the key to our story. With this in hand, nothing will stop me from reaching the ninth dimension and finding the answers I'm looking for. I can confront whoever's running the show and I can get him to make sense of this mess. Starting by writing myself into a different dimension. Thank you, expositional dialogue. Woo! Hey guys, what's up? This is Diego here at Cinemageddon Reviews. So I'm here today to continue my ongoing series of Spider-Man reviews. Last time we talked about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and we kind of crossed over two series of mine, my analysis videos and my Spider-Man series. This time we're inching closer to the finish line because we've reached the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy, and the first of these installments is Spider-Man Homecoming. And before we continue, I should warn you that just like the rest of my Spider-Man reviews, this is going to contain heavy spoilers. You have been warned. Okay, here we go. Now, right off the bat, the first thing I have to talk about is how petty Marvel was being when they chose the title for this movie. I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming? God, that's so perfect. Now, if you've been watching this series, you're well aware that Spider-Man is a property that up until this point has been controlled exclusively by Sony. And in later years, we really started to see how bad that actually was. At the time of its release, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 received generally mixed reviews and brought in the lowest box office return of all time for a movie that had Spider-Man in it. And because of this, Sony decided to change the direction of the franchise a little bit. But this planning stage was taking way too long, mostly because they had a lot of ideas for where they wanted the franchise to go, but they didn't really know how to execute all of them. Which kind of explains Amazing Spider-Man 2. Eventually, Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios caught wind of this and decided to step in and give the fans what they actually wanted, and in 2015, they finally announced that Spider-Man will be joining the MCU in Captain America Civil War. And to this day, Civil War is still one of the highest grossing MCU films of all time, so yeah, safe to say that Marvel had no plans to surrender creative control back to Sony anytime soon, and I can't tell you how glad I am about that. However, Marvel also knew that a minor supporting role in a Captain America movie isn't enough to satisfy the fans' wishes. So the very next year, we got Spider-Man Homecoming, which, again, perfect title.
Oh, you are a petty man. You are a petty, small.
Homecoming tells one of those rare Marvel stories that never seems to get old. As with all the best Spider-Man movies, there's something in the story that feels timeless. Like, no matter how much time goes by, it never seems to feel outdated. And probably my favorite part of Spider-Man Homecoming is that it's a back-to-basics Spider-Man movie. It's your classic coming-of-age story with a ton of great humor and plenty of exciting superhero action, but that also has a lot to say about power and responsibility in a way that, just like the best Spider-Man movies, feels refreshing and entertaining. I've mentioned before in the series that Tom Holland is my absolute favorite actor to ever play Spider-Man. Anyone who's seen him can tell you he is excellent as this character, As Peter Parker, he presents that childlike innocence that makes him so engaging. There's something about this performance that you just instantly connect with. It feels authentic and honest. And his Spider-Man feels like an extension of that personality. He still feels like that same kid who isn't being cocky when he fights crime, but is instead using his humor as a mask to hide how terrified he is. This is a proper interpretation of the character.
What's up, guys? You forget your PIN number?
Whoa, you're the Avengers! What are you guys doing here?
Homecoming also features my favorite Spider-Man suit, which is this one right here. Yes, this suit originally made its debut in Civil War, but the reason why this one's my favorite is because it very closely resembles those old school Alex Ross paintings, right down to the color scheme and like the details like the eyes, but it still has a couple things here and there that make it feel fresh. It's quite simply the perfect live-action Spider-Man suit. Tom Holland isn't the only standout performance in this movie. I absolutely love his friendship with Ned Leeds, played by Jacob Batalon. These two have really good rapport in real life, and that translates really well to the screen. Some of my favorite moments in this entire movie are Ned and Peter moments.
Dude, what are you doing? She's here, Spider-Man up. No, I cannot do this. Spider-Man is not a party trick, okay? Look, I'm just gonna be myself. Peter, no one wants that. Dude.
And of course, I can't forget this movie's villain, Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture, played by the one and only Michael Keaton. Now, what I appreciated so much about this character is he's equal parts an everyman and an intimidating villain. He's someone that you could easily see yourself either casually hanging out with or just running away from in sheer terror. Michael Keaton just struck that perfect balance, which works really well for who the character is. He's also one of the most compelling MCU villains we've ever had. The Vulture was always one of the less popular Spider-Man villains, but they handled him so well in this movie, and I really hope we get to see him again someday. Oh. Morbius. Great. Thanks, Sony. Now, the Vulture isn't the only villain in this movie. There's a ton of villains and smaller characters that make appearances here. Michael Mando plays Mac Gargan, aka the Scorpion, and he disappeared for a while, but there's rumors circulating around the internet that he's going to appear in the next Spider-Man movie, so I guess we'll see about that. Jennifer Connelly makes an appearance in this movie as Karen, aka the Suit Lady. She never came back after this movie, which was a little disappointing. We also have both alter egos of the Shocker, played by Bokeem Woodbine and Logan Marshall Green. I thought they both did a good job. We got Michael Chernus playing Phineas Mason, aka the Tinkerer, and the most notable addition to the Rogue Gallery, Donald Glover has a minor role in this movie as Aaron Davis, aka the Prowler. Now, if you saw my analysis video on Into the Spider-Verse, you know that Donald Glover, the actor, plays a huge role in the history of the Spider-Man character. There was a campaign for him for years to play a black Spider-Man, which ultimately led to the creation of Miles Morales. And there's even a reference to Miles Morales in this movie.
I don't want those weapons in this neighborhood. I got a nephew who live here.
This was quite a big deal for us fans of Miles Morales, and I really hope we get to see Aaron Davis come back someday. Oh, wait, what? The Hypno Hustler? Sony, why?
Money!
And of course, this is an MCU film, so you do have Avengers making appearances here. Captain America appears in a bunch of educational videos at Peter's school, which I thought was really funny. A lot of people seem frustrated by the post-credit scene, but I don't understand why. I thought it was really funny.
Sometimes patience is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
Iron Man is in this movie too, as a representation of one of the things that Peter wants the most, which is to become an Avenger. Now, I will say that in the marketing and advertisements, they relied very heavily on the appearance of Tony Stark, and I think this is because they were worried that another solo Spider-Man movie wouldn't do so well at the box office unless Tony Stark was in it. That being said, he doesn't play too big a role in the film. He only shows up in a few scenes, and it actually works for the story that they're telling, so I really don't mind it. Now, setting all the actors and cameos and Easter eggs aside, Homecoming is memorable at its core because of an excellent story. Now, what makes this story so relatable is that just like Spider-Man 2, this movie nailed the aspect of Peter juggling a successful normal life with his responsibility as Spider-Man. There are so many scenes in this film where the emotional aspect just hits you so hard, man, like the scene where Peter refuses to go swimming with his friends at the hotel because he has to track down the Vulture, and you get this heart-wrenching moment where he's watching Liz through the roof of the building, and you can just tell she's not enjoying this as much as she would if Peter were there, and it just, that got me right here, man.
My emotions! My emotions!
Tom Holland's chemistry with Laura Harrier felt so real here, man. The relationship is one of those things that it feels equal parts heartwarming and tragic at the same time. You can tell Peter desperately wants to go after her, but he keeps getting pulled away from her by what he has to do. Which is why the eventual twist of Adrian Toomes being Liz's dad is actually genius. Not only does it further develop Adrian's character, but it also raises the stakes, because now you know that if Peter actually succeeds in stopping the Vulture, it may cost him what he wants the most, probably for good this time. It feels so unfair. And it's only more hurtful that Peter actually has to verbally make that choice when he finally gets Liz to go with him to Homecoming. And that scene just hurts to watch, man. You just know that for Peter and Liz, this is the point of no return. Speaking of difficult choices, one of Peter's biggest internal struggles in this movie is that he really wants to become an Avenger. He constantly tries to impress Tony Stark and Happy Hogan with his work keeping Queen safe, which barely gets noticed. And when he finally does stop the Vulture, it catches the eye of Tony Stark. Finally. But what I like about this movie is that Peter actually makes the conscious choice to turn down the opportunity to be an Avenger, which, to be honest, is for the best. I mean, they really weren't noticing that he was actually valuable up until that point. But more importantly, this sort of choice is what makes some of the best conflicts in the best Spider-Man movies work. Having to sacrifice what you know would make you the happiest because you know it's the right thing to do. It's why Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. That being said, as good as this writing is, Spider-Man Homecoming is not a perfect film. There are a couple of editing mistakes that I noticed during the film, which were pretty obvious. Some of the background shots, for example, have a couple continuity errors. And also, the final battle on the Coney Island beach after the plane crash has this atrocious-looking CGI fire. It didn't look good when the movie first came out, and it looks even worse now, which is weird because not all of the CGI in that scene looks bad. The vulture wings and some of the CGI stunts actually still look pretty good. I really don't know what happened there. All that being said, I still very much enjoy Spider-Man Homecoming. It was an awesome way of integrating Spider-Man into the MCU, and I'm really happy we got it. Tom Holland is my favorite interpretation of Spider-Man, and this character only got better from here. And with that said, my rating for Spider-Man Homecoming is 9 out of 10. So what are your thoughts on Homecoming? Do you like it? Do you think Tom Holland makes a good Spider-Man? And what are some of your favorite moments from the film? Whoa, What's happening? Vaya, 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 mis hermanos y hermanas, aquí estoy Diego en las críticas cinematapocalípticas. Hoy les voy a hablar sobre la nueva película Rápidos y Furiosos 100 parte 8, episodio 47. Esta es la nueva... What the... Jeez Louise, we're traveling through different multiverses and I still have the same goddamn room? Posters and everything? ¿Usted es un demonio? Oh shit, I think I'm in a multiverse where I decided to make Cinemageddon reviews a Spanish-only channel. Sorry, I'll get out of your hair real quick. Coño, aquí nos jodimos todo. Okay, this one's new. Oh god! Hey! No, don't kill me! Don't kill me! I'm not here to kill you, bro. I'm just... Are you the guy in charge? In charge of what? Cinemageddon reviews? No, I don't even know what that is. Dang it. I don't think I'm traveling in the right direction. I think I'm just exploring my multiverse. I must have hit one where I'm not a filmmaker. Oh, I am a filmmaker. Yeah, I just use AI to make movies. You what? AI, it stands for artificial intelligence. No, I get it. It's just... You use AI to make movies. Yeah, it's pretty nifty. You want me to show you how it works? Okay. I was wrong. I am here to kill you. No, wait! Hey, that's a fake gun. Yeah, well, you're a fake filmmaker.